Hi, welcome to the Gemara on Vav Amud Bet. This is just a review video of material that we did in class. We're starting 6 lines down from the top towards the end of the line. The Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, and Rabbi Yitzchak said, because we're continuing based off of other things that Rabbi Yitzchak has said, Im Yomar Lecha Adam, if a person says to you, Yagati velo matzati, I worked, I looked, but I did not find, al ta'amen, don't believe him. Lo yagati umatzati. If he says, I didn't look and I nonetheless found what I was looking for, or what I wasn't looking for, al ta'amen. Don't believe him. Yagati umatzati. If he says, I worked hard and my efforts paid off, ta'amen. Then you should believe him. Hanimile b'divrei Torah. These words are about the words of Torah, are about learning Torah. But when it comes to business matters, Masao Matan is business, it's all about siyata d'shmaya, it's all about help from God. So in other words, Rabbi Yitzchak has this whole statement about you should only believe someone if they said they worked and then the work paid off. And the Gemara says, but that's only when it comes to Divrei Torah, where hard work for sure pays off and you can't get anywhere without hard work. When it comes to business, that's all essentially luck, that's all mazal, that all comes from divine intervention. Ula Divrei Torah, and even about Divrei Torah, lo amran el lachdude. This was only said, the statement of Rabbi Yitzchak was only said about lachdude, about sharpening, about improving your knowledge of Torah. But when it comes to just upholding your version of the text, establishing a basic understanding of the text, that's also siyata d'shmaya. That's also just comes from God helping you out. So the only thing that Rabbi Yitzchak's advice really applies to is improving your Torah knowledge, sharpening your Torah knowledge. Ve'amar Rabbi Yitzchak, and here's another statement by Rabbi Yitzchak. If you see a rasha, an evil person, that literally the hour is playing with him, but it means that things are good for him right now, everything's going well for him. Al titgarebo, don't fight with him. Shnei amar, as it says in Pasuk in Tehillim, Al titchar b'meriim, don't fight with the bad people. V'lo od ela shedrachav matzlichin. I'll put a period there. V'lo od ela shedrachav matzlichin. And not only that, but this bad person's ways are everything he's doing is really succeeding. Shnei amar, as it says also in Tehillim, yachilu drachav b'chol et. Yachilu, Rashi says, is yatzlichu. So his ways will be successful at every moment. So again, that too is predicted in Tehillim. You still shouldn't fight with him. V'lo od, and not only that, ela shezoche b'din, but he's also winning in court cases. Right, the law is on his side. Shnei amar, as it says, maro mishpatecha minegdo. Also in that pasuk, put that also in quotes. V'lo od ela shero'eh b'sonav, and not only that, but also that he's beating his enemies. Shnei amar, as it says, kol tzarav yafiach bahem, he'll blow away all his enemies. All of this again is predicted in Tehillim. I have the verses from Tehillim down here. Al tidchar b'merim al tikaneh be'osei avla, and yachilu drachav b'chol et maro mishpatecha minegdo. All these verses about bad people flourishing. So Rabbi Yitzchak says, don't fight with them. Ini, is this really so? Ve'ha'amar Rabbi Yochanan, mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, but doesn't Rabbi Yochanan say in the name of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, mutar le'hitgarot b'rashaim ba'olam hazeh? You're allowed to fight with the wicked people in this world. Shnei amar, as it says in Mishlei, ozvei Torah yehalu rasha v'shomrei Torah yitgaru bam. Those who leave Torah will praise evil, and people who keep Torah will fight with them, will bother them. Vitanya, and we also have a proof for this from a Braita. I'll put the word Tanya in red to tell you that we're getting some Tanaitic material here. Rabbi Justai bar Maton Amar. Rabbi Justai bar Maton says, It is permitted to argue with wicked people in this world. And if somebody should whisper to you, should whisper in your ear this pasuk, don't fight with the evil people, and don't be jealous of the people doing bad things, mishali bo nokfo American. Only people who are sort of nervous or afraid say these things, meaning they're afraid of their own status, so whether they're really good enough, so they say, oh, don't bother the wicked people. But if it weren't for that, they would even they would realize that you can fight off evil people in this world. Ella, rather, al titchar b'mari'im, that part of the pasuk, don't fight with the bad people, that actually means lihiyot k'mari'im, means don't be like the bad people. The al tikaneh be'osei avla, that part of the pasuk really means lihiyot k'osei avla. Don't be like the people who are doing evil. So that verse doesn't mean not to fight with them. It actually means just don't be like them, but you can fight with them. Okay, I'll put a comma here. Ve'omer, and another pasuk, ali kaneh libcha b'chateim v'gomer. And it also says, don't be jealous of people who are sinners, right? Don't envy them. That's also implied, but not that you shouldn't fight with them, not that you shouldn't kind of go after them. Lo kasha. So lo kasha, we've had before. It's a phrase that means it's not a problem. It's not actually a conflict. The difference between the statements of Rabbi Yitzchak and Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Haba milei didei, haba milei dishmaya. This one is talking about milei didei, literally his words, and this one is talking about milei dishmaya, literally the words of heaven or the matters of heaven. So there's a difference between your own issues, about those things you shouldn't fight with him. That's what Rabbi Yitzchak's talking about. But when it comes to religious issues, those things you can fight about, and that's the case that Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai is talking about. V'iba ema, and if you want to, you could say, here's another way of interpreting the two statements. Hava milei didei. No, both are actually talking about milei didei, about his own words, right? Not religious matters, but fighting him personally. V'lo kasha, but it's still not a contradiction. Rabbi Yitzchak and Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Haba tzaddik gamor. This one is talking about a tzaddik gamor, someone who's totally righteous. Haba tzaddik she'ino gamor. And this one is talking about someone who's not completely righteous. In other words, if you're completely righteous, then you can fight with people who are not so good. But if you're not completely righteous, then you have to be careful about not fighting the evil people. Ze'amar Rav Huna, because we have a proof from a statement of Rav Huna, as Rav Huna said. Mai dichtiv, what is it that is written, or what does this verse mean? And the verse is Lama tabit bogdim tacharish bebela rasha. Rasha tzadik mimenu. So what does this pasuk mean? Tzadik mimenu bolaya. If the person is just more righteous than you are, he'll get swallowed up. Or if the person is just more righteous than the person he's rebuking, he'll get swallowed up. Tzaddik gamor eino bolaya. But if he's actually a tzaddik gamor, he won't get swallowed up, right? So it's really only safe. That's the implication of the pasuk. It's really only safe to attack somebody for being bad if you know about yourself that you're perfectly righteous. V'iba ema, and if you want to, you could say, again, another possible interpretation, another way of solving the contradiction between Rabbi Yitzchak's opinion and that of Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Sha'a mesacheket lo shani. It's different when you are dealing with when you're dealing with a time when things are going really well for a Rasha. Maybe then it's not really a good idea to go after him, to fight with someone, because it seems like sort of God is on his side in some way at this time. Okay, now the Gemara is moving on to another topic, slightly shifting topics. Amar Ula said, Italia shel Yavan ze krach gadol shel Romi. Italy, which belongs to Greece, it's Roman, it's Greek, it's Italy, so it's sort of identified with the enemy camp. It's a big Roman city. V'havya tlat mea parsa al tlat mea parsa, and it is 300 parsa by 300 parsa, so it's very big. V'yeshba shin samech he shvakim kiminyan yemot hachama, and it has 365 marketplaces within it, like the number of the days in a solar year. V'katan shebekulam shel mochrei ofot, and the smallest one of all of them, the smallest one of these marketplaces, is that of the sellers of birds. Actually, I'll change that to a comma. V'havya shisha asar mil al shisha asar mil, and even that one is 16 mil by 16 mil, so it's also a fairly large market, meaning even the smallest market among these 365 is still big. Umelech soed b'chol yom b'achad mehen, and a king eats, feasts on each day in one of these markets. Right? I think that's how grand they are. The king of Rome eats in one of these each day. V'hadarba afal pi she'eino nolad ba, and someone who lives in the city, dar is to live, so someone who lives in this place, even though he wasn't born there, notel pras mi beit hamelach, gets food from the king's house. He's able to take a portion of food or some kind of living wage from the house of the king. V'hanolad ba afal pi she'eino darba notel pras mi beit hamelach, and someone who was born in the city, even though they no longer live there, also gets to take this sort of food ration or living wage from the house of the king. Ushloshet alafim beibana yeshbo, and there are 3,000 bathhouses there. V'chamesh me'ot chalonot ma'alin ashan chutz l'choma, and 500 windows let out smoke outside of the wall. Rashi explains that this is an expression of how important, how great this place is. Right there, the windows or the chimneys are set up in such a way that the smoke goes out, right? The smoke from the fires inside go out, but it doesn't make the walls kind of smoky or ashy. That's how well set up this city is. Tzido echad yam, one side of the city is the sea. V'tzido echad harim, and one side is mountains, vigvaot, and valleys. Tzido echad mechitza shel barzel, one side is an iron wall. V'tzido echad chol situ mitzula, and the other side is sand and swampland. In other words, this city is very well protected. So, as I mentioned in class, we have now this description of what's essentially an enemy city, and I think that part of what's going on here is, as much as we've sort of indulged in these messianic fantasies of when our enemies will be destroyed and the Jewish people will be victorious, and we talked about Rishaim and how we might want to treat them in the world, but nonetheless, we're in a reality where Italia shel Yavan is very much the krach gadol and is very much in control and has all of these grand things about it. Okay, we'll pause here.